Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Jane's Fleet Command as we continue on with the reference materials today with Brazil. Well, a bit of a shorter list than the last couple. I suppose I won't complain about that. So let's start off with the submarines with the Tupi diesel electric submarine. Tupi SSK, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Submarines, country Brazil. Title Tupi class 209, type 4, 1400 SSK. Specifications: displacement 1,260 tons surfaced, 1,440 tons submerged. Length 200.1 feet, beam 20.3 feet, draught 18 feet, speed 11 knots surfaced or snorkeling, 21.5 knots submerged. Range 8,200 nautical miles at 8 knots surfaced, 400 nautical miles at 4 knots submerged. Complement 30. Main machinery: diesel electric 4 MTU 12V 493 AZ80 GA31L diesels, producing 2,400 horsepower, 1.76 megawatts, 4 alternators, 1.7 megawatts, 1 Siemens motor, 4,600 horsepower, 3.36 megawatts sustained, 1 shaft. Armament and electronics: torpedoes, 8 21-inch 533 millimeter bow tubes, holding 16 Mark 24 Tigerfish Mod 1 or 2 wire-guided torpedoes, active homing to 7 nautical miles at 35 knots, passive homing to 15.7 nautical miles at 24 knots. IPQM anti-submarine torpedoes may also be carried, range 9.7 nautical miles at 45 knots, swim-out discharge. ESM DR4000 radar warning, radars Calypso 3 I-band, sonars CSU 83-1, hull-mounted passive active search and attack. Active 3, the Tupi, the Tamoyo, and the Timbira. Here is a stock photo of one, and here is the in-game model. Next up we have the Humaita SSK, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Submarines, country Brazil. Title Humaita or Oberon class SSK. Specifications: displacement 2,030 tons surfaced, 2,410 tons submerged. Length 295.2 feet. Beam 26.5 feet, draught 18 feet, speed 12 knots surfaced, 17 knots submerged, and 10 knots snorkeling. Range 9,000 miles surfaced at 12 knots. Complement 70, of which 6 are officers. Main machinery: diesel electric 2 ASR-16 VVS ASR-1 diesels, producing 3,680 horsepower or 2.74 megawatts, 2 AEI motors producing 6,000 horsepower or 4.48 megawatts, and 2 shafts. Armament and electronics: torpedoes, 8 21-inch 533 millimeter tube, 6 in the bow, 2 in the stern. And the submarine itself carries 20 Mark 24 Tigerfish Mod 1 wire-guided torpedoes with active homing to 7 nautical miles at 35 knots or passive homing to 15.7 nautical miles at 24 knots. 4 Mark 37 Mod 2 are also carried in the stern tubes, wire-guided active passive homing to 4.4 nautical miles at 24 knots. ESM UA4 radar warning, radars navigation type 1006 I-band. Sonars EMI type 187 or CSU 9061 hull-mounted passive active search and attack. Type 2007 flank array passive search. Active 2 Tonelero and Riachuelo. Here we can see at least an Oberon class. I don't know if it's specifically going to be one of the ones in Brazilian service. And here you can see it with its nice distinctive nose. Now the Oberon, I think last episode I was going over the Oberons, and I had mistaken it at first for, I think, the British T-type submarine, if I'm remembering correctly. There's a World War II sub. The British had that, 8 forward tubes, and it had a really pronounced nose like this. And the Oberon is a Cold War sub that's descended from that design. Next up, surface ship classes. Colossus Carrier, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Aircraft Carriers, country Brazil. Title Colossus class aircraft carrier. Specifications: displacement 19,896 tons full load, length 693.2 feet, beam 80 feet, draught 25 feet, speed 24 knots. Range 12,000 nautical miles at 14 knots, 6,200 nautical miles at 23 knots. Complement 1,300. and 300 aircrew. Main machinery, 4 Admiralty boilers producing 400 psi or 28.1 kilograms per centimeter squared at 700 degrees Fahrenheit or 371 degrees Celsius. 2 Parsons turbines producing 40,000 horsepower, 30 megawatts on 2 shafts. Armament and electronics missiles, SAM, 2 Matra Sadral twin launchers, Mistral IR homing to 2.2 nautical miles. Guns, 10 40mm 70 caliber guns with 85-degree elevation, firing at 300 rounds per minute to 6.5 nautical miles against surface targets and 2.2 nautical miles against air targets. 2 47mm saluting guns. Countermeasures, decoys, Plessy shield chaff launchers, ESM, Recall Cutlass B1, radar warning. Radars, air search, SPS-40B, operating in the E and F band, range 175 nautical miles. Surface and air search, AWS-4, operating in the E and F band. Navigation, ZW-06, operating in the I band. Fire control 2, SPG-34, operating in the I and J bands. CCA, Scanter Milpar, operating in the I band. TACAN, URN-20. Fixed wing aircraft, 11 superintendents and 6 S2A or S2E trackers. Helicopters, 4 to 6 SH-3A or SH-3D Sea Kings, 2 UH-13 Ukuril 2, or 3 UH-14 Super Pumas. Active 1, the Minas Gerais. Here we can see a picture of it. And now this is actually a British World War II light aircraft carrier that they were designed as cheap aircraft carriers in World War II, but their service life has exceeded all of their designers' imaginations. I mean, they've only been recently taken, well, relatively recently at the time of this video, within years for one. Argentina was probably retired like a decade ago. I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but Argentina had one. Brazil has one, and then I believe India operated a modified one as well that has been decommissioned now that they have newer used aircraft carriers. Let me see if I can find the full list real quick. It was the 1942 design light fleet carrier given the name Colossus. And yeah, one was in the French Navy for a while. The Royal Netherlands actually operated one for a while. Yeah, the Argentina one was scrapped in 1999, so actually not too long after this game would have been released. The Brazilian Navy, the Minas Gerais, scrapped in 2004, so actually kind of a while ago. I thought they were more recent. Argentina actually had another one in 1974. But they scrapped that one, probably too expensive to operate 2 aircraft carriers. What's the Indian aircraft carrier and the Virat that I'm thinking about? INS Virat. Oh, Centaur class. Well, it's also an old British carrier. I just got the classes mixed up. Okay. Anyways, moving on, we have the Broadsword Guided Missile Frigate. Publication, Jane's Fighting Ships. Section, Frigates, Country, Brazil, and United Kingdom. Title, Broadsword Class, Type 22 Guided Missile Frigate. Specifications, displacement, 4,400 tons, full load, Batch 1. 4,800 tons, full load, Batch 2. Length, 430 feet, Batch 1, 450.5 feet for frigates 92 and 93, 480.5 feet for frigates 94 through 96. Beam, 48.5 feet. Draught, 19.9 feet, including the screws in Batch 1, 21 feet for frigates 92 through 98. Speed, 30 knots, 18 knots on tines. Range, 4,500 nautical miles at 18 knots on tines. Complement, 222, of which 17 are officers, plus 65 officers under training in Batch 1. 273, plus 30 officers, accommodation for 296, Batch 2. Main machinery, combined gas or gas. 2 RR Olympus TM38 gas turbines producing 50,000 horsepower at 37.3 megawatts sustained, or 2 RR Spey SM-1C, as on Frigate 94, producing 44,000 horsepower, 32.8 megawatts sustained. 2 Tyne RM-1C gas turbines producing 9,900 horsepower, 7.4 megawatts sustained on 2 shafts. CP props. Armament and electronics, missiles, surface-to-surface, 4 MM-38 Exocet with inertial cruise guidance and active radar homing to 23 nautical miles at 0.9 Mach. Sea Skimmer. SAM, 2 6-barreled Seawolf GWS 25 Mod 0 or Mod 4, except frigates 94 through 96 and 98. Command line of sight, CLOS, TV radar tracking to 2.7 nautical miles at Mach 2 plus, 32 rounds, being upgraded to Mod 4 with improved radar and optronics in frigates 92 and 93. 2 Seawolf GWS 25 Mod 3 in frigates 94 through 96 and 98 has a Type 911 tracker with a second radar channel instead of TV. Guns, 4 GCM A03 30mm 75 caliber in 2 twin mounts at 80 degrees elevation, 650 rounds per minute to 15.5 nautical miles. That seems a lot for a 30 millimeter caliber. I think, I don't know. And 2 20 millimeter GAM B01 with 55 degree elevation, firing at 1,000 rounds per minute to 2 kilometers. See, that sounds more right. Torpedoes, 6 324mm Plessey STWS Mark II and 2 triple tubes. Marconi Stingray active passive homing to 5.9 nautical miles at 45 knots. Countermeasures, decoys, outfit DLB, 4 CNAT 130mm, 102mm 6-barreled fixed launchers. Type 182 torpedo decoy. ESM and ECM, MEL UAA to intercept and Type 670 jammer. Radars, air and surface search, Type 967 and 968, Type 967M and Frigate 94 operating in the D&E band. Navigation, Type 1006 or Type 1007 operating in the I band. Fire control, 2 Type 911 or Type 910 in mod serial ships operating in the I or Q band for Seawolf. Sonars, Type 2016 or Type 2050 hull-mounted search and attack. Type 2013Z and Batch 2 only towed array passive search. Helicopters, 2 Lynx HMA 38 in all, or 1 Sea King HAS 5 or EH 101 Merlin Haas 1 in due course on frigates 94 through 96 and 98. In Brazilian service for our active, the Green Hog, the Dodsworth, the Bossio, and the Raidmaker. In the United Kingdom, S10, the Boxer, Beaver, Brave, London, Sheffield, Coventry, Cornwall, Cumberland, Campbelltown, and Chatham. Here we can see a picture of one. And here is the in-game model. Alright, next up we have our aircraft, starting with the F5E Tiger II. Publication Jane's Aircraft Upgrades section, Aircraft Fixed Wing Military, Country Brazil and Taiwan, title F5E F5F Tiger II. Type Single Seat Light Tactical Fighter. Specifications, power plant, 2 General Electric J85GE 218 turbojet engines with afterburning. Length 47 feet 4.75 inches. Height 13 feet 4.25 inches. Wingspan 26 feet 8 inches. Max takeoff weight 24,722 pounds. Max wing load 133 pounds per square foot. Max level speed Mach 1.64 at 36,000 feet. Service ceiling 51,800 feet. Takeoff run 5,700 feet at max takeoff weight. Landing run 2,500 feet with brake chute. Max range 1,340 nautical miles. Max fuel and reserves. Armament, missiles, AIM-9 Sidewinder or Matra Durandal air-to-surface missiles, AGM-65 Maverick. Guns, 2 M39A2 20mm cannons with 280 rounds per gun. Here we can see 2 F5s in flight. And here is the in-game model. Very beautiful aircraft. I'm kind of sad that Reagan changed things up. He made it so like stuff like the F-16 was, which would have been initially reserved for like really close U.S. allies, like NATO allies. He made it so we could sell that to basically all our allies. So like Saudi Arabia, for instance, or the UAE. So that basically dried up the export market overnight for lower capability stuff that would have been cleared for those allies, like the F-20 Tiger Shark, which was a development of the F-5E. Next up, S2E Tracker, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Shipborne Aircraft, country Argentina and Brazil, title S2E Tracker, role carrier-borne medium-range ASW aircraft, specifications, operational speed 130 knots, service ceiling 25,000 feet, range 1,350 nautical miles, armament and electronics, weapons ASW A-244 torpedoes, bombs, and depth charges, sensors ELM 2022 search radar, and up to 32 sonar buoys, the ALD-2B ESM, and echo ranging depth charges. Here we can see a picture of one landing. And here is the in-game model. And finally, we have the Super Lynx, publication Jane's Fighting Ships, section Shipborne Aircraft, country Brazil, title Super Lynx, role ASW helicopter. Specifications, operational speed 125 knots or 232 kilometers per hour, service ceiling 12,000 feet or 3,650 meters, range 160 nautical miles or 296 kilometers, armament and electronics, weapons ASW-2 Mark 44 or Mark 46 torpedoes or depth bombs, ASV-4 Sea Skua missiles, sensors Mark III radar, recall Kestrel EW suite, Sea Spray Mark 1 or Mark 3 radar, and recall MIR-2 ESM. Here we can see one landing and note the surface search radar there. And here is the in-game model. And that is all for Brazil. Let's see. I think China is going to be the first one that I split up into 3, just so I don't wear out my voice. So that will take us 3 weeks as opposed to the usual one. But yeah, we're getting through these pretty fast. I promise this is going to end up going a lot faster than the Jane's Fighters Anthology reference materials, which anti-surface missiles might be another one I split up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about how I do some of those, but yeah, although to be fair, this is 1 game's worth of content rather than like 2 games and 4 expansions worth of content like Fighters Anthology. So there is that. So with that, thank you all for watching and stay tuned for next time and stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.